So we're getting towards the end of the earnings season when the retailers all come. What should we expect next week? The good, the bad, the ugly.
Most of them already told us what's happening, right? We already know the Macy's story. It's part of the ugly category, and they told us that up front. And, you know, I'm a fan of Macy's. I think they're doing the right things, but they're clearly not able to bring it down to the bottom line yet, and they told us that. And they told us they're still under construction, if you will, on getting the business where they want it to be. I was just in a Macy's yesterday out in New Jersey, and, you know, they're trying a lot of new things. They've got a centralized checkout system in Woodbridge that they're looking at. They're doing things like that. They're closing less productive stores. They're moving the business online as fast as anybody's moving the business online.
But consumers are changing rapidly, as evidenced by what we see this morning with Kraft Heinz. Consumers are changing rapidly on every facet.
Yes, that's one of the reasons they've got a whole floor of the store in Woodbridge that is their off-price concept. And so they're doing things like that to stay relevant, but that's across retailing. Macy's is just an example, but we've seen everybody do it.
The off-price is now in the full-price store. There used to be a separate facility where you sent your off-price stuff, like an outlet. The outlet is now within?
Well, unfortunately, I am so old that's the way it started. We had a bargain basement in every store.
Right, like in Filene's.
Yes.
Right.
And then we moved away from that because the space was too valuable, because every woman in America went to work and we needed all that space for apparel. Well, that's no longer the case. And now TJ Maxx, you know, they were just a twinkle in a person's eye back when I got in the business. They weren't even running yet. They're only a little over 20 years old. TJ Maxx, Ross, Burlington, they took all that over. And so now we're fighting back, right? Nordstrom's has Rack, Macy's has Backstage, but now the Backstage is the third floor of the Woodbridge Mall store, for instance.
So what does that mean for margins when you start talking about having the off-price stuff in the real estate that used to be too expensive to have the off-price stuff?
For gross margins, it's still not a bad thing because they're selling volume out of that space that they really wasn't productive before. Remember, every department store in America is now too big, whether you're Kohl's or Macy's. Kohl's has been, portioning off the store, putting 20,000 square feet of something else in there, like an Aldi or a Lidl. Macy's has been putting in all kinds of sub shops like Sunglass Hut and Finish Line and all that. They're soaking up the space. All they're doing now is soaking up the space with an off-price concept.
Do you buy any of these stocks? I mean, that's a pretty dire outlook for an industry that's seriously in change.
Well, right now, Macy's has been beaten up enough. We got the news. I'm still a fan there. Nordstrom's, I'm waiting to see what the number looks like. You know, a lot of people have Nordstrom's underweight right now, but they're another company that's doing all the right things, right, to remain competitive. So it's not that hard to like those two. Anybody else sort of in the space is pretty tough. Like, it's hard to like the mall-based guys from the point of view of the inline stores. It's not so hard to like Kohl's. They're off the mall, though. It's not so hard to like Macy's at the current pricing. But yeah, it's a tough decision to make. It's easy to like Walmart and Home Depot, by the way, who you mentioned on.